Yeah, hello everyone. In this video, we will be going to create schema for our NeedIt application. At the same time, we also need to create a scope application for NeedIt application as well. So to start with, we can do this creation of the scope and creation of the schema by loading a studio. So to open a studio, go to the all navigation and type studio. And under the system applications, we have the studio module. So click on the studio. This will load the studio application for us. And there are three options here. One is create application, import from source control, and select a store app to customize. So if you want to create a custom application from the scratch, you can use the create application, or if you're trying to import it from the source control, something like GitHub, you will be using the import from source control option. For us right now, we are going to create a custom application from the scratch. So I'm using this option. So click on this button. It will give a dialog for us to create an application. Let's get started. Click on let's get started and give the name of the application. The application name that we are going to create is NeedIt, and it is a scoped application. So you have to select this scoped checkmark. So, and based on your instance, or this will be automatically generated by the system. For me, it generated x_835583. It could be something different for your instance, but it's prefixed with the whichever the name, application name that we provided, that will be added as a prefix to the scope. Then click on create. So with this step, we have created a scope record in our application. The scope is nothing but we created a custom application. For any other source files like client scripts, or creating a table, or applying changes to a form, or creating server-side development, we can all do this in a studio. So you can continue and proceed for the next steps in this studio dialog menu, or else you can click on continue in studio. I'm going to do this right now, continue in studio advanced. And the application that we have created is available here, NeedIt, and select this NeedIt application to load this application in studio. So right now this application is loaded on studio. As of now, there is no files which we created for this application. We will be creating a data schema for this application. Data schema nothing but we are going to create a new application, so new table. So click on create application. This will open create application dialog, and in this dialog, the left side, you will have all the different types of applications. So based on this nature of the files, it is grouped in a logical order. For example, data model, which will be related to tables, and the all related to tables and data model will be available inside this data model. The one that we are going to use it here to create a table is table. Click on create. So as we discussed in previous video, the schema for this, majorly it will have 4 columns which are specifically created in NeedIt application, the custom columns. At the same time, we are going to extend the task table. Let's do that. So give a name as NeedIt, and the name will automatically populated here. And the extends table, what we discussed, we want the functionality of the task table should be available on NeedIt as well, right? And we are going to extend this table. So if you have anywhere in ServiceNow, you are going to create a request, or you're going to create a record, I would suggest think about extending a task table, because it gives us few more the inbuilt functionality with that function to the extended table as well. So new menu, that we are good with the NeedIt. Let's save this. So right now we haven't created any columns, but on save of this table, you could see some 70 odd columns been added to this. These columns, all the columns that are added here is from the task table. All because we extended this task table in NeedIt table, so all the columns that are available in task table will be available here. At the same time, you will be having few access controls, read, write, create, delete will be added here by default on creation of the table, and you will be having a menu being created for desktop and the mobile. And yeah, let's create new columns for us. What is the first column that we discussed here? The first column that we are going to create is a request type, and type of this field is reference type field. The type of field is reference field and requested for. And as I said, it is a reference field. Which table it is reference to? It is reference to sys user table. Sys user table. This is the one, right? And save this. This is done, and I also want to create one more table, one more field called request type. This request type is a field, is a choice list. So choice list always be created as a string. Once you create it as a string, then you will be having here a choice configurations, how the choice will behave. The one that I want right now is I don't want to have none. I don't want to see none. So I'll be creating drop down without none and submit it. Okay, give the name to the field, that is request type 14. So on save of this field, there will be a related list for this field new column in a table to create choices to our request type field. Let's go and create a new choice here. So the label will be human resource, and the value is HR. Human resource. Let's say this is small HR. Let's refresh it. Yeah. Then create one more choice on this field. This is facilities and facilities. New. If you look at the form, you will be having a label and value. These are two which are important. At the same time, you can also mention the order. For example, if your choice field have 5 choices is available, you can list them in an order. The order, based on the order, the choices will also appear in the form. The last label that we have for this last choice that are available for the NeedIt is we've created for human resource and facility, and the last one is for legal. So let's take this up, refresh this. So as of now, we have created 3 choices for this field. And let's say I'm going to give the order to these choices based on this alphabetical order. Save this. So I've created 3 choices. So the second field request type is completed. The next one that we have is what needed. Create a new column. And this is also a choice field. That means that it is a string type. And the label is what needed. My class is 40. Choice specification drop down without none. Submit this. and create the choices. The choices is human resource 1, that is HR1. This will be, I don't want to give a sequence to this. Let's submit this and create a new choice. Human resource 2, HR2. Submit this. Create new choice. The second set is facilities. Submit. Create a new choice, one more choice. Create one more choice. So let me refresh it and see how many we created. We created 4. Let's create a last set for the legal. So these are the choices fields that were created for what needed. Let's create the last field that we have in the schema, that is when needed. This is a date field. So date and time. What is the column label? When needed. When needed. Let's give 40. Submit it. So delete all the unwanted tabs. And refresh this list. So we could see this newly created column should be available. And personalize your list by bringing the table to the list and column name. Okay, I don't want to see task table related, but instead I would like to see the NeedIt record columns that we have created. These are the columns that we have created. One is requested for, which is reference to user table. Then we have what needed, then request type and when needed. And the requested for, the first character is in small letters. Let me increase that, update. Okay. With that, we have completed the schema creation. At the same time, let's go back to the form on NeedIt table. Let's go here, refresh the navigation menu and go to the NeedIt. Click on new. So this is the form that is right now we are able to see it. I don't want this form look like this. I would like to add the columns that we have created. How do we customize this form? Either you can go to the configure, you have a form builder or form designer. Any one option will be form builder, form design and form layout. Any one of out of these 3 options could be used. Right now I'm using the form designer options to customize the form. So here Let's bring the field that we have created. What needed? I don't want configuration item. I want the assigned item to the right side. But if you look at the design of the form, it is 2-column form. That's why this particular section in the NeedIt application, you could see the columns on the left side and you could also see the columns on the right side. All right. When needed, what needed, when needed, request type, and one more field that we have created, when needed. So request type should be the first field. Let's bring that to first field. And what needed is the next one, then when needed. And active should be somewhere here. And priority state, parent, we don't want parent, and assign to. Fine, let's save this. After the changes, to commit those changes, there will be a save button here that we can use it to save this. At the same time, if you look at this window, you will be having the left side options of all the fields that are there in the NeedIt application. And if you want to create any new field, you can use this field types. For example, if I would like to create one more date field, I just bring this field type of the field to here, and I can make those changes to the label and the name. And after saving of it, this directly creates a new column into this table. So we already created a columns, so we don't want to create any more columns on this new table. So, but this is also possible by using the form design.